Welcome to episode 93 of Talking Mopars. Today, I have a special guest, Bill Adams. Bill is here to talk about a very fun event that we will have back again this year in Las Vegas. The event is Muscle Cars at the Strip, and it's back this year. COVID be damned. We're getting our car shows back. We're getting our events back. And I don't know about you all, but I am very excited. I'm actually going to be at Muscle Cars at the Strip. So join me out there, bring your Mopars, and it's going to be a great time. I'm glad that we were able to make this happen and have the show this year and the races and all the other fun stuff at Muscle Cars at the Strip. And Bill is here to tell us all about it. So without further ado, if you are a Mopar enthusiast, then you are in the right place. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned into the best Mopar enthusiast-driven podcast on planet Earth. And I'm your host, Chris Albrecht, better known as the Mopar Hunter. And this is Talking Mopars, Direct Connections.
You're listening to Talking Mopars with the Mopar Hunter, your direct connection to all things Mopar.
My guest for today is Bill Adams. Bill is the vice president of the Chrysler Club. Correct, Bill?
Correct.
Awesome. How long have you been the vice president of the Chrysler Club?
For about 2 years now.
2 years. Awesome. Have you always been a lifelong Mopar addict like myself and everybody that listens to the show?
Well, the Chrysler Club was actually founded by a guy named Norm Fry here in the California Bay Area back in the mid-'60s.
Cool.
And my father was on the original founding board of directors in the late 60s. And so the apple didn't fall far from the tree, so to speak. And I have gotten into it now. And I also am aware of the sordid history of clubs. However, for better for worse, I don't see any other vehicle to preserve history better than a club. So there's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives, but that's the reason why I stay involved and will continue to be involved in the National Chrysler Club, because I'm it's important to me to preserve the history of the vehicles, of the cars and the company.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree 100%. The camaraderie and networking that are involved with car clubs is, so important to keeping the hobby alive and keeping, the history. It's going to get passed down by word of mouth. We'll still have books and magazines and stuff, but all the legends and all the fun stories, they're going to get passed down by word of mouth. So hopefully Talking Mopars is going to be a contributing factor to that, and also car clubs, just like the Chrysler Club. So that's very cool. You are here today to talk about Muscle Cars at the Strip in Las Vegas, the weekend of September 10th at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tell us a little bit about Muscle Cars at the Strip. It used to be known as Mopars at the Strip. For the people that are like, Muscle Cars at the Strip, I don't know what he's talking about. It used to be Mopars at the Strip. So can you tell us? Go ahead.
It started at Mopars at the Strip in 2002. And Phil Painter is the promoter. He's always been involved. It's really one of the last single or just a bunch of passionate guys running the show as promoters. Again, Phil is the main promoter. And Phil started the show as a way to give back to the community and to enhance. His family has owned Chrysler dealerships since in the 30s or 40s, I think. So one of the original Chrysler dealers.
Cool.
And then, over time, as the show progressed, Chrysler has had an interesting history with management, different companies coming in, taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And so due to some trademark issues with Chrysler, Mopar, Mopars at the Strip, Moparty at the Strip, and other factors such as many, we can't do it ourselves. We have to have other people promoting it. We have to have sponsors. There's no way one person can fund this all themselves.
Sure.
but in order for the sponsors to continue to come out and support it, they kept, you know, telling us that it needs to be more than just a one brand show. So it's transitioned. It will, you know, just talking to Phil earlier this morning, I think we'll always have the stigma of being Mopars at this trip, and you know, I'm a Mopar guy, so
Yeah.
I like that. But you know, it used to be, and you can probably relate. You know, my dad. Many people were, you know, it was fighting words when you know, Mopar guys stuck with Mopar guys, and
Sure.
you know, I could tell you why. You know, why Mopars were better. You know, mechanically than any Chevy or Ford.
Sure.
But I think nowadays we're all kind of in the same boat. So as Ben Franklin once said famously, a gentleman, if we don't all hang together, we will most assuredly hang separately.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
That's where it's gone. And so we still have a strong Mopar contingent, but we're working hard and hope to bring everybody out to enjoy Mopars and muscle cars. So we're hoping to have a separate, you know, Chevy area, Ford area, and we've basically got the show set up, and we're trying to hand it to them. Say, here, it's already a working show. Come on in and do your thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember us talking briefly about the show and the event. I should say event, because
Right.
I don't want anybody to get confused and think it's just a car show. This
Correct.
is a huge event for muscle car enthusiasts. If you're an enthusiast for muscle cars and you have some time in September, on the weekend of September 10th, you have to get down to Las Vegas. It's a event that I've been trying to get to for years, and I'm finally in a position where I can make it down there. By the skin of my teeth, I'm going to make it down there. But it's one of those events that I have a bucket list of events in the scope of Mopars that I have to get to, and this is one of them. I'm glad that you guys reached out to me. I'm going to be promoting this event from here until the time that I go, and I'll be basically covering the event. I'll be talking to participants in the show and in the racing, because this is at a speedway, folks. This isn't in a park. And I know there's awesome shows at parks and stuff that are strictly car shows. This, like I said, is a massive event, and it's awesome. I love car shows that take place at racetracks. I mean, what better venue could you have for a car event? You know what I mean? And when we were talking on the phone, you mentioned the muscle car wars and how that's a really big theme of muscle cars at the Strip, because you got the drag track. So you can have these battles that they had back in the day. I'm really excited to see what happens with that, because I don't really know. And hopefully you can tell me, are there classes where we're going to see Mopars versus Chevys versus Fords, and we get to crown the king? What can we expect at this event, Bill?
Yes, there are different classes. Mopars versus the world has been a popular class.
Nice.
And you know, over the years, many of us lamented that if you could just take an older muscle car and remake it, man, that would be great. And hey, that time is here. It's been here for a while now.
Yeah.
Muscle cars are back, and they're fabulous. They're great cars, and they're all trying to outdo each other, and that's awesome. And Mopar, I think they're pretty much at the top of the heap again. But so it's a great opportunity to come out, show your stuff, show you what you've got. And as you well know, there's one thing to say you have a fast car, and your car's fast on the street, but taking it down the track's another thing entirely.
Yes,
you got to be a good driver. You got to be a good driver. You got to know how to get every inch of performance out of that car, or you're going to get beat by somebody that's slower but a better driver. So yeah, the racetrack is a huge part of our event. Always has been, always will be, because that's the performance aspect. I mean, it's the car show is certainly a big part, but there's not too many shows or events anymore. Chrysler's at Carlisle's happening right now. Great show.
Yeah,
Again, that's
absolutely.
one of the shows I haven't made it to yet. But and I hear it's huge this year. It's going great, but there's no racetrack.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things to do, but if you're a racing fan, and you want to smell race gas and rubber all the time, you can do that at this event. So it's just a phenomenal. You got this super stock Hemi cars are always there, and
awesome.
I don't care if any car guy loves the super stock Hemi cars.
Yep.
So
I'm wearing the shirt right now for this podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So and let's not make anybody think that they're excluded from this. You don't have to have a Hemi Superstock car. I'd imagine that you can bring your street car. If you just bought a brand new Hellcat Red Eye and you want to see what it can do, bring it out. The more the merrier, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see, I keep hearing about this GT 500 and I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear 760 horsepower and I'm like, oh, that's it. You know what I mean? Mopar guys are like, that's it. So, this is for all the kit and caboodle, the bragging rights. Come out, bring out your car. It's going to be a good time. Now, another interesting thing, and I'm a fan of this. You told me that you guys are going to be running well into the night on that track. Is that true?
Correct.
Awesome.
Well, September, due to COVID, the show got shut down, 3 days before it was to happen. And, everybody was shutting down, states were shutting down, and everybody kept waiting. Are you going to shut down? Well, we're obligated at that point. We're contracted in a variety of different ways. So when the state shut down, that's what we had to, wait for. When the state shut down 3 days before our event, we were left holding the bag. And, I'm not going to whine because a lot of people got kicked too, but it was a hard lump to swallow because we had a lot of sponsors that came back. We had a lot of work into it, Phil mostly, but then this year comes back around and the track opens up. Now we're, as big as we are, this is a big track. So, they're used to having huge, massive events. So for them to give us a date this year when everybody's clamoring to get it in was great. Now, September is not our ideal date, but that's what we got. So we'll take it and we'll make it work. In September, nights start to cool down a little bit in Vegas. So we're going to run through the night. In past years, what has made our event successful is we've had another car show in the evening at the hotel. We've had other host hotels. Like you said, we've tried to make it a whole experience. Sometimes we set up concerts for everybody, and if you buy a ticket to the event, you also get into the concert, you get into the car show. But management changes, ownership changes, things. We got to roll with the punches. Yeah. So this year we're going to do a race well into the night, and it's been a while since I've done night racing, but it was always a fun experience. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is going to be like for somebody like myself who's always heard the stories of like hot August nights. I'm looking at this like hot September nights in Las Vegas at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with the coolest muscle cars on the planet. It's going to be a blast. Now, how many people? I'd imagine that you guys are having pre-registers. Is it going to be a good turnout as far as the pre-registration? I'd imagine that people are dying to get to these events because we've been so shut down this past year.
Yeah, there's some pent-up demand, and I don't know if you've seen, but we've had a few people jump on board as not only sponsors, but want to show their car, get out. I don't know if you've seen the famous Mopars 5150 and their car giveaway.
Yes.
They're fairly local to me, about an hour away, and talking to him, he's like, yeah, by all means, let's make a barn find tent.
Nice.
And now Mopars 5150 are the guys that got the Arizona Horde, the 71 Challenger, Hemi Challenger, 4-speed, sitting in a driveway in Arizona for 25 years. Timing is everything. He caught him at the right time, so he's got the 71 Challenger, 71 Hemi Challenger 4-speed, 69 Charger 500. Another guy actually got it's a 70 Super B 446 pack. He's bringing the car. So we're going to get some pretty cool cars there that have never been seen at a show before. They've, a lot of magazine articles, a lot of internet buzz, but they've never been seen at a show before. So, and if you've got a barn find car, bring it out. We've got a tent to put it under, an entire area to display it and compare it with some of the other barn find. The term's been overused, but it's everybody knows what we're talking. It was a driveway find, field find, whatever it is, but it's pretty cool cars.
Awesome. Yeah, I love as found cars. I don't know, I can be in a car show with the best cars on the planet, and there's just something about a car that's just been saved, rescued, you know what I mean, from its dormant status in a barn, in a field, under a bunch of junk in a garage. Those cars, there's just something about them, because it's like they're getting another chance at life. You know what I mean? That's just awesome, and I'm really excited to see what cars show up for that.
Well, you kind of get to live, most of us have done a little bit of that. You find a Mopar anywhere, if it turns over, guaranteed it'll run, and most likely it'll run good. Yeah. And so you kind of live a little bit vicariously through the people that are finding it, saying, hey, man, I've been there. I've got a car turned over and running just, after sitting for, who knows how many years, and it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else can we expect? We've got the special display of the barn finds. We've got the racing. This is a 3-day event or a 2-day event?
It's usually a 3-day event. This year it's a 2-day event.
Okay, so Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. Also, Mopars 5150 did a project car giveaway last year at Christmas time. I don't know if you remember that.
I absolutely remember that.
He's doing it again. He's gone nuts, but it's all the right reasons. One of the guys he gave a car away to last year was a combat veteran.
Awesome.
Now that's near and dear to my heart, because I'm a combat veteran, Navy. And he spent just a few minutes talking with the guy, but he was so inspired. This year he's giving away 3 cars to 3 combat veterans. All they have to do is tag him. The instructions are on his Instagram page. Somebody has to nominate them. Now, this is not a group of people that typically likes to be public about things.
Sure.
But, this is, and they don't like to get awards for doing their job, essentially. But this is a great way to give back.
Absolutely.
We give awards to people that Golden Globes, all the above awards that people that certainly don't deserve it as much as somebody who's done their job like a combat vet really well.
I agree.
So this is a chance to give back, to honor the guys or the people, the folks that didn't make it back, and honor the struggle that they go through every day. And to put their passion into something that's constructive, and that they can use to honor those that didn't make it back.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. All gave some gave all, and we can give a little bit back. And, with a guy like Troy who runs Mopars 5150, I think it's important to support organizations that do this kind of thing. So for those of you listening, head over to Mopars 5150, get a t-shirt, get a hat, help support them, because those proceeds go to help do things like this. And I'm definitely 100% on board. I wish I could help financially. I wish I could be a part of that, but they're doing a fabulous job. They don't need my help. So I'm really excited to see,
and the reason I'm so excited to be part of it is he's as genuine as he seems, and more so. It's all the right reasons.
Yeah, I need to get him on the show. I've been trying to get him on the show, but he's a busy guy.
Yeah, he is. I'll be going out next week and doing some more videos of the cars.
Cool.
Because he's going to give away. He's got a choice of 12 cars.
Oh my gosh.
Complete project cars, and not all Mopars, but some great great other muscle car project cars, trucks,
Awesome.
stuff like that. So it's just again, he's as genuine as he seems. We've gotten I wouldn't say accosted, but hit up by different groups that are trying to, hey, we'll help you promote it. You just need to pay us a little bit, and that's get out of here. So
Yeah, sure.
He's as genuine as he seems, and it's for all the right reasons.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah, I'm really excited for this event. I probably am speaking out of line here, but is the giveaway going to happen at the show, or is that something completely separate?
The winners are going to be announced at the show. Yes.
Really? Oh
Yes.
man, that's awesome. So I'll be covering that live. That'll be good.
On 9/11.
Awesome. This is going to be fun. I couldn't think of a better day to do that. I know that there was some people talking about having the event on that weekend, and they were wondering if anything was going to be done to honor, the day, September 11th. So
absolutely,
I think that's great. That's going to be a lot of fun and important that we never forget what happened on September 11th, 2001. So yeah, man, gosh, I can't say that I'm excited enough. It's going to be a great time. I still need to, I can't get the day off work. So I'm trying to figure out what time I'm going to get off work, how I'm going to get to the airport. Cause I got to see this night racing that's going on Friday night. I'm going to fly in. I'm going to be a little red eyed, but
you're going to be cutting it close after, you're going to get there Friday.
I'm going to try to leave Friday evening. It's a 2.5-hour flight from where I'm at. So I'm trying to, there's a 6 p.m. flight and I'm like, God, I don't know if I can make it down to the airport in time. So I'm looking into fast passes to get through security and stuff so I can actually get on the flight quick. So we'll see. Worst case scenario, I have to take a little later of a flight and I'll get there a little bit late, but I have to see at least a little bit of it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let us know what happens. We'll do everything we can to get you there and to
awesome.
What we can.
Awesome. Now so the event is a 2-day event. Is there going to be racing on Saturday night too, or is it just Friday night?
Saturday night as well. Yes.
Oh, thank God. So I won't miss it all.
Nope.
Awesome. This is exciting.
Nope. It's an action packed, especially the racers, they'll race as long as till the cows come home, as they say, but,
awesome.
Or everybody breaks down, but
yeah, knock on wood hopefully that won't happen.
Yep. So hopefully, it's not too bad. That again, that time of year in Vegas, typically it's mid to low 90s. Mm-hmm. So with the it's funny, everybody says it's dry heat, but yeah, but when it's 120, dry heat is still pretty darn hot.
Still hot.
but 95, 93 is doable. And then of course when the sun goes down, it cools down pretty good. It should be in the 70s at night, so should be good.
Awesome. Yeah, I recently went to a car show here in Washington, and it was blazing hot. And in a situation like that, like if it was any other situation, if I'm just outside barbecuing or something like that, the heat really gets to me. But when I'm distracted by cool cars, like I got home and I was burnt, and I'm a tan skinned guy. I was burnt, Bill. Yep. I was toasty. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a blast. Now,
well, when you start in the morning, so a Saturday morning, you get up and you get there first thing.
Yeah.
And then your body, you heat up with the day, then you're good.
Yeah, there you go. Muscle Cars at the Strip, you guys have a relationship with some local hotels. So if people are wanting to go down there, do spectators, can they take advantage of the event pricing, or is that only for participants in the event?
Spectators, everybody. I mentioned
awesome.
Mopars, Muscle Cars at the Strip, at the Cannery, and at the Grand. There's a couple other hotels listed. We've got everything on our website, pricing, everything you need on the website. We just put the new barn find category on there.
Awesome.
So,
and that's MATSLV. Did I get that right?
Matt's LV, correct.
Matt'sLV.com. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. What event are you looking forward to the most?
The working with Troy and his team. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's honoring the combat vets, and the barn finds,
Yeah.
all the excitement surrounding that, and there's going to be a couple other. We're trying to get a couple other car celebrities, if you will, there.
Nice.
Don't know yet, but that should be a lot of fun. Should be exciting.
That's
So,
cool. I would venture to say that in the 19 years that this show's been going on, I think my math is right. In the 19 years this show's going on, this might very well be the most spectacular one, just because of the recent events and what's going to take place at the show. I'm really excited. I'd like to talk to Phil at some point to get
okay.
his perspective, because that 19 years promoting a show, that's a long time. And have you been going to it for 19 years?
I have. I missed 1 year when my daughter was born, and of course I was saying, hey, honey, I'm going to go, but I got the look, and because I actually tried to think I was going, but not happening. So she was born on March 29th, so it was like the day before the show. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Bill.
I'd still be buried.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I probably would have tried to. I'm like, well, maybe I can just. That's funny.
But yeah, I've been my whole family. In fact, my dad and all my little brothers have been going to the show. It's kind of a
Wow.
quasi family reunion almost, because we're spread all over the western states.
Awesome. I may be speaking out of turn again here, but is this one of the only muscle car only events that takes place at a track where you have a show and a race event on the I would say on the western side of the United States? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And everybody over the years, of course, everybody's come in to give us, help Phil out and suggestions and what can we do better. Phil's really good at getting constructive criticism. What can we do better? What do you think? He'll try anything. Always trying to make it bigger and better. And again, he's one of the last kind of individual promoters of a show. Everything's gone to the Holly Mo Party, which is great.
Sure.
But that's an entire corporate entity putting the show on, and say that so they don't. It's not as big a deal to a one like that. But as far as muscle cars at a track, yeah, it's one of the only ones I know of.
Yeah.
Certainly in the West, but maybe in the U.S.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like the aspect of this show because it's put on by enthusiasts. Like you were saying, there's a lot of great corporate sponsored shows, and those are awesome, and we need those in the community. But to have enthusiasts like Phil and yourself that produce and promote these shows for as long as you guys have, that is remarkable. And you going for, we'll call it 18 solid years of the show. I mean, are there any memorable moments that you'd like to share with us from these shows in the past? Maybe one moment that stood out, one car that stood out.
Well, memorable moments are, my son Luke got he went through leukemia just recently. He's not through it yet, but he's almost through it. 2 years ago at the show in 19, something was wrong at the show. We usually drive, and that year I was driving a 66 300 convertible. And in California here, the Central Valley, I like to go over to Nevada and drive down through Nevada because the driving the lonely roads in Nevada is a lot more appealing than driving down the middle of California, the Central Valley, or through the Mojave Desert. Anyway, it's just a nice drive. But Luke is started coming with me since he was about 9 years old, and it's been a great release for him because the show is contained. It's all fenced in, and so we get there and everybody knows him. and he's off on his own thing. He's a little ambassador out walking the swap meet. I'll find him in the drag race stands. He's hanging out, just enjoying having some freedom as a kid.
Awesome.
And so it's been really neat doing that. And then a couple of years ago, when he got, when I could tell something was wrong, it was difficult. And then, a couple of years before that, one of the guests, the celebrities we had, was Courtney Hansen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And she actually came a couple of years, and she may come again.
Nice.
But Luke, and since we're staff at the show, Luke hit it off with Courtney. Well, what kid wouldn't?
Little ladies, man. I like it.
Exactly. So he said, we're out walking the show and looking at the swap meet, and I turn around, Luke, where are you going? He said, Dad, I got to get back. Courtney said she could use my help. Okay.
Priorities,
and,
Dad.
When I get back, I said, Courtney, I'm sorry. She's like, don't worry. He's wonderful. It's okay. And Luke is mildly autistic, so it was a great therapy for him.
Awesome.
And she's as a celebrity goes, she is just a wonderful, genuine person.
That's good to hear, because a lot of people, they often say, you don't want to meet your heroes or your idols and things like that. But
that has been true, and we've seen it at the show, because we do try to bring some people in as celebrities, and a lot of times they're my contract says I'm supposed to be there at 11. I'm there at 11.
Yeah.
But some of them don't. Some of them they're there before that. They stay well after their contracts. It's because they enjoy it. They're enthusiasts as well.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I can't wait to see. I got to talk to Luke. I want to interview Luke when I'm out there. So make sure we get together.
Luke would like that. This year,
yeah.
Luke is not fully off lockdown yet, but he's
okay.
He's gotten through the roughest part. The first year was a really rough one.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the car community, Phil, and Steve at the show, and the rest of the people that we've met, and a lot of people I don't even remember meeting, but they just came out of the woodwork to help, and it was very, very humbling.
Yeah, sure.
And it was a great experience. But so that's really been a huge definition for Luke. And so this year he really wanted to go, of course. And Mama Bear's not so fond of letting him go if
sure.
he's not fully released. So this year we're going to bring the family and stay in a motorhome on site, so she can make sure he's got a sterile environment.
Yeah.
And we'll limit him a little bit, but he'll be able to come hang out a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him have a good time for the first time in a couple years.
Yeah, that is awesome. Fabulous. You did mention the swap meet. Now, once again, there's so many facets to this show. So there's going to be a swap meet too. That's one of my favorite things.
Yes.
Our swap meet.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be a swap meet, guys. Awesome.
But you're flying, so getting your parts back is going to be it's going to be interesting.
I'm going to carry on light, and I will ditch clothes if I have to.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. I also got I got a buddy, Johnny Mopar. He's going to come with me, and I believe he's going to drive. So we might load up his car with a bunch of parts, and I'll have him FedEx them up to me in Washington. I don't know yet.
Well, I saw that it looks like Johnny's going to be able to make it, and that's great.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure to reach out to Johnny and make sure he's got everything he needs as well. Because you guys are kind of you guys are.
Yeah, he's my unofficial.
Pretty much your co-host.
Yeah, he's my unofficial co-host, but I like to fit him in there. So he's definitely going to come with me, and we're gonna do the show out there live, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. There's also going to be vendors there, from what I understand. So it's a full event, folks.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. This is going to be really cool. Bill, I'm looking really really forward to this. You got a lot of members from your club that are going to show, I'd imagine.
No.
Oh, really?
Club. Yeah, the club is. I said it's almost a lot of the clubs have especially the Chrysler Club. There's a lot of older folks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm no spring chicken anymore, but I'm the youngest guy there.
Okay.
And that's okay again, because I'm very focused on, like I said, preserving the history.
Yeah.
So everybody likes muscle cars, but the club is um, a lot of our membership is around in the Midwest states,
Oh, okay.
Michigan, Minnesota, a lot of Canadian members.
Okay.
It was originally started in the California Bay Area,
Hmm.
and so we had a huge contingent in the West, and some of those folks are absolutely going to go, but it's not enough to really hold a club event or something
I see.
like that. Hopefully in the future we can do that. We still have. I think we're still probably the largest Mopar club out there.
Oh,
Um,
really? How many members do you have?
Almost 4,000.
Oh my God. Wow. That's crazy. And it's open to all years, makes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. You're
awesome.
Chrysler, and yeah, you're a Chrysler enthusiast. You can join the club. It's the ChryslerClub.org. But
Okay.
again, that's and we've got a great. The editor of the magazine is a former Chrysler employee. Right now, we've got a couple of the best pieces in the magazine right now are done by a guy named Chris Piscatelli, who's actually a senior designer at Dodge.
Oh, wow.
And
I thought the name sounded familiar.
yeah, it's Piscatelli Designs is what you may know
Okay.
him by.
Yeah.
His father's a longtime board member and a good friend of
Oh,
mine of
cool.
the Chrysler Club, and so it's a great indication of, again, the apple didn't fall far from the tree, but
Yeah.
he's now, he grew up going to car clubs, car meets, and now he's doing the dream. That's kind of the dream job of all of us, kind of when you think about that.
Yeah.
I went to design school, and hey, now he's working at he got to build some of the cool concept Jeeps that
Oh,
Jeep
really?
has done over the past few years. Yeah, he's just,
Oh, wow.
and he's a great guy too. So,
Wow.
and he certainly knows the heritage.
Yeah, very cool. Let me ask you something. Speaking of heritage, I got to ask you. Yesterday, it was announced that there is going to be in 2024 an electric muscle car by Dodge. How crazy is that? How do you feel about that? Being in Mopars all your life and seeing the evolution of the cars, from the early, the first muscle car, the 300, the Hemi 300 back in the day. You get to the late 60s with the super stock Hemi cars, and you get to the modern stuff with all these crazy Hellcats and all these supercharged modern Hemis, and then they drop a bomb and say, well, hey, we're not necessarily about the technology, we're about the performance, period. And they say they've reached the limits of what an internal combustion engine can do as far as factory production vehicles, and now they're bringing out what I'm assuming is going to be a Tesla killing just machine. How do you feel about an electric muscle car? I got to ask.
Well, I like the use of the Fratzog in the advertisement.
Absolutely. I thought that was really cool.
I thought that's great, that the connection to heritage. We've been beating them over the head for, hey, mind your heritage, mind your heritage.
Absolutely.
And they get it now. So
yeah.
So I think it's fantastic. Will I ever buy one? Probably not.
Yeah.
But who knows? Stranger things have happened. But
Sure.
I think it's phenomenal. One of the things that I think Chrysler Corporation, Mopar, has done particularly well over the years, and one of the things that differentiates Mopars is their ability to push the envelope.
Yes.
Somehow, for whatever reason, they have always figured a way to push the envelope and to take it one step farther. When Walter Chrysler first came out with the car, his first car went 70 miles an hour, which in 1924 was a big deal, especially for a car that the average schmo could buy, right?
Sure.
Then the Airflow, which was a flop at the time, but now it's proving, it was the first car designed in a wind tunnel, the first unibody car. Chrysler's engineering feats are second to none. Then their contribution during World War II, the 300 letter cars were just phenomenal. Rocket ships dominated NASCAR when they first came out. that's where Chrysler and NASCAR started getting sideways, and to this
Yeah.
day, they're
Yeah,
not too good of friends.
we knew how that goes.
Yeah. So, then they came out with the Hemi just to win in NASCAR. Then the Superbird, the Daytona, to win in NASCAR. They got outlawed. Hey, you're not
Yeah.
playing fair. What do you mean you're not playing fair?
Yeah.
We played by the rules. What other car company would have the panache to go out and make a car they know they're going to lose their butt on, and make it just so they can win at the racetrack? And how many times, moving that forward, how many times did people tell them they were nuts to make the Viper?
Yeah.
How many times?
Yeah.
How many times did people tell them they were nuts to make a modern muscle car? Look what they spawned.
Yep.
Is it just Chrysler? No, everybody else, but Chrysler's been at the forefront, and I think it's because of the heritage. Somehow they've figured out how to embody that spirit of pushing the envelope just a little bit farther. That, in my mind, is one of the crowning achievements of Chrysler over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
It's one of the
I
things
agree.
that differentiates them. Yeah.
I definitely agree. And speaking of all that, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been bringing it up a lot on the podcast. But tell me if I'm wrong, and let me get your opinion on this. I think that the PT Cruiser, the Plymouth Prowler, was so ahead of its time that if it had been released instead today with a Hemi, I think it would have been far more popular, and I think it would have lived on a lot longer than it did. What do you think about the Plymouth Prowler? Should it have been? Does it have its right place in time back in, with the early 2000s, late 90s? Do you think it would have been more successful in today's market if they had released it with like a Hemi?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
At the time, it was pretty successful. I mean, you couldn't get one on the the hot rod world was kind of in a different place. The roadsters had kind of fallen out of favor, and so I think the Prowler kind of helped bring that back, and a lot of guys that wanted a muscle car. So and there was absolutely a lot of disappointment that it was a V6. It wasn't bigger. So I think it served its purpose at the time of inspiring some things.
Sure.
And would it be bigger and better if it was brought back now? I don't know. I think it's a phenomenal car. I had a friend that had one, and I drove it a couple times, and it was neat, and enjoyed. And I at the time, the first few years they came out, I think it was Hot Rod, or maybe it was Plate. One of the magazines did some. Their comment was like, if you can't get laid in this car, then you're not. I mean, sorry for the.
That's funny. I like it. That's funny.
But it was pretty, because it was a definite attention getter.
Sure.
Kind of reminds you of the I don't know. I think it was a Roadkill episode where they went out. One guy was in a rat rod, one guy was in a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And see who got more attention.
Yeah. I remember
the guy in the rat rod got a lot more attention, which I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely. I just, I can't help but when I see Prowlers, and I see them every once in a while, I look at them and I go, gosh, that car is just, it really looks amazing. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but when I see the car, I just can't help but think, gosh, that would be so much cooler with a Hemi. And if the Prowler never existed when it did, and it came out today, like if the Prowler never was released and they pulled it out today and said, here's the SRT Prowler, I think it would change the entire industry. And I think, much like with the Challenger, the success of the classic styling of the new Challenger, you saw Ford try to imitate that and Chevy trying to imitate that. And in my humble opinion, I think they missed the mark compared to the Challenger. I think if the Prowler was released today as an SRT, I think Ford and Chevy would try to release some sort of, probably Chevy business coupe or something. I don't know, but I just feel like when I look at the Prowler, I just feel like it was so ahead of its time. And I as successful as it may have been back then, I think that the potential, especially with today's technology, I think that it was too far ahead of its time, which is a testament to Chrysler and the risks they take. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. It goes back to what I'm saying. Hey, what? Obviously the attorney must have been sick that day. Hey, let's do this, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Bill, you're involved in the biggest Chrysler club. What kind of cars do you have?
A bunch of different. I like them all. I really do. As a younger kid, my ultimate car was a '71 Hemi Cuda. Like, the muscle cars. I love the muscle cars, and I've been fortunate to have a bunch of them. But the cars I have now are a 300G, 61 300G,
Cool.
a 62 300H, 65 300L. 66 dark convertible, 69 Roadrunner convertible.
Oh, really? You got a Roadrunner convertible, huh? Wow.
Yes, I do.
My buddy's got one, and they're so cool. I like the Roadrunner convertibles.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And I've had a lot of muscle cars over the years.
Yeah.
I've had a few Chargers. That's why when I went over to see Troy Mopars 5150, and he's got a few Chargers. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays Chargers are pretty hot, and they're my Luke excoriates me. Dad, why didn't you keep a '68 Charger?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said I've had a lot of great cars over the years. I also have a 39 Chrysler Hayes Coupe.
Really?
Royal Windsor Hayes Coupe, yeah. And 39, the Chrysler, only Plymouth, the Plymouth line had a convertible. And so the Chrysler dealers were upset. So as a spring special, designed by Raymond Dietrich, who was a very famous early designer and working for Chrysler at the time, they had a coupe, designed, and they made 1,000 of them across all lines.
Wow.
In fact, if the early Dodge Brothers commercial, where it starts out, they're in a green coupe, the Dodge Brothers. They're in a green coupe, and then it switches to a Super B. Then it's talking about the Heritage. Well, the green coupe is a car that is a Hayes coupe.
Oh, really?
It's a very unique. Anyway, so I have those. I have a 40 New Yorker. I'd really love to have an Airflow.
Yeah.
Because I think they're just fabulous cars. And I'm not a originality nut. I appreciate them.
Sure.
But usually my cars, like all my Virgil Exner era cars, that I put disc brakes on them. I put front rear sway bars. Most of them had front sway bars. Because I enjoy the driving experience.
Yeah.
That's why at these shows I usually work them. Drives my wife nuts because I can't sit still for very long.
Yeah.
I like working them because I enjoy interacting with the people, the cars, and I can't sit still.
Awesome. What I got to ask you this: with that incredible stable of Mopars that you have, which one is your favorite? Tough question, I know.
Good question. Well, that may change here soon, and and that's a surprise you may be able to witness. So.
All right.
So
oh boy.
We'll just leave that.
Let's leave that then.
Tidbit there. Yep.
We'll leave that. Awesome. Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure having you on. Let's get you on again. I definitely want to talk more about. I am, admittedly, the early days of Chrysler, there's so much to unpack there. And, I talk about it all the time. The history of Chrysler is just so deep. I mean, the water is, you can
it's
dive.
Well,
yeah.
The early pioneers of the automotive were larger than life. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
And again, preserving the history, that's what, put it this way, there's a recent, called The Titans of Industry, I think, on the History Channel that just came out on Memorial Day. I think there's a 3-part special, and one of the people they feature is Walter P. Chrysler.
Oh, cool.
Well, the Chrysler, they called us to get hooked up with an early Chrysler car and for some of the information on early Chryslers. And so, but the point is that Walter Chrysler was a very interesting guy. And again, larger than life characters, and the early history of Chrysler is just fascinating. And the innovations that they went from nothing to the number 2 car company in the world in a couple of years.
Yeah.
When Chrysler bought Dodge, the media depicted it as a minnow swallowing a whale.
Oh man, oh gosh, I'm gonna have you on again, Bill, and I'm gonna get some questions together of stuff that I don't know that I want to learn, and you can come back on Talking Mopars and give me and the audience a history lesson, because I think you're the right guy for the job.
I'd be honored. And but one of the things with Chryslers, we always know you can never say never, because somebody knew somebody,
Yeah.
They may have made only one of one, but you can never say it's the only one that exists. It's the only one known to exist.
Yeah.
Because you never know, and that's kind of the cool thing about Chrysler.
Absolutely.
So,
on that note, Bill, tell us where anybody interested in joining or they want more information about your club, tell us where they can visit you online.
Okay, chryslerclub.org is our website. On Facebook, where it's I don't know why the name's it's called the WPC Club, world's largest Mopar club.
Okay.
WPC Club Inc. And we don't have an Instagram page yet, but I'm working on that.
Perfect.
Me and a couple other guys are trying to push a little bit of technology
awesome
into the club. So, but as far as the event coming up, Matt's LV, that's the website, Instagram, Facebook. Mopars 5150 is doing a great job helping us promote that and promoting their the barn find, as well as the combat veteran giveaway. And if anybody wants to, if you want to nominate or a combat veteran, we'll take you can tag us on or tag Troy's. He's got a hashtag on Instagram you can tag, or you can send a video privately. Any form of nomination. We just want to we want to filter through to the right folks, and again, he's doing it for all the right reasons.
That's awesome. There you have it, folks. Muscle Cars at the Strip, a muscle car enthusiast event, an event for us. Everybody's welcome, even the Ford and the Chevy guys. Bring the Mopars out. We want to outnumber them, but it's going to be a blast. There's going to be racing. There's going to be shows. There's going to be a swap meet. There's going to be some celebrities. I'm not talking about myself. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. It is the weekend of September 10th in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Be there or be square. Bill, thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to have you on again, and I can't wait to see you in September at Muscle Cars at the Strip. Thank you for joining me today.
Sounds great, Chris. Thank you.
There you have it, my friends. Another episode of Talking Mopars Direct Connections is in the books. For everything you need to know about the podcast, please visit talkingmopars.com. And don't forget that you can send me your Mopar stories, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, and everything else on your Mopar addicted mind to chris@talkingmopars.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail on my voicemail box at 209-28-MOPAR, and I will play your message on the show. Also, if you like Talking Mopars and you want to show your support, there are a couple of ways you can do it. One way is by picking up some Talking Mopars merch at the Talking Mopars merch shop, which you can find on talkingmopars.com, or by becoming a supporter through my Facebook page. You can also find me on social media by searching for @Talking Mopars Podcast, and be sure to subscribe to my new YouTube channel by searching for Talking Mopars Podcast. This episode was really fun. It was a pleasure having Bill on. I hope to see you all at Muscle Cars at the Strip the weekend of September 10th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's going to be great. There's going to be a car show, swap meet, vendor row. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be drag racing well into the night. I can't wait to see you guys there. If you see me, be sure to say hello. That's it, my friends. Until we talk again, I am your host, Chris Albrecht, and that was Talking Mopars Direct Connections.
Thank you for listening to Talking Mopars, your direct connection to all things Mopar. Until next time, remember, no Mopar left behind.